Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. My name is Paula Jane and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and her two most recent books, both of them Kindle editions, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
So Judy, in addition to the message that you received and shared in our last episode, which was 58, the message from Maris regarding everything that's happening here on the planet right now, you have more of that message to communicate.
Yes, Paula, I was aware at the time that there was more to the message, but translating these messages into words isn't always easy. The Zetas and Mantids are not verbal when they're conveying messages. They prefer to use imagery. This then has to be sorted and verbalised in order to be able to convey it in words that people down here can understand. Star language is lovely and carries an amazing energy frequency, but people on Earth generally can't decipher the messages. They need to be put into Earth-human words. Part of the message came through, but I knew that there was more involved.
So just to reiterate, Mara said to stop the fear and anger. This is where all the problems lie, and that both sides are spreading fear and anger. He acknowledged that there is a lot of lying going on and therefore drawing us into more fear and anger. Fear and anger can affect us spiritually on the soul level. He pointed out that we made a pre-birth choice, and whatever that pre-birth choice was will play out accordingly. He emphasized again that everything that's happening is all part of the planetary shift, and he reminded us that we are protected.
Yes, exactly. As he said, this is a massive planetary shift going on, so it's not going to be easy to negotiate on the 3D conscious level. On this lower level, it manifests as a whole lot of polarity, separateness and contradictory information being put out by two opposing sides, both of whom are backed by the planetary controllers. These controllers, of course, are doing their best to stop the ascension process by keeping us trapped in the polarities of fear and anger. In other words, the old divide and conquer routine, which they've used to control Earth plane humanity since the year dot. In order to evolve up to 5D, we need to be able to wake up and see through this. Evolution is always driven by the need to adapt to changing conditions, to develop lungs to breathe rather than fins, to walk upright on 2 legs rather than on 4. The adaptation this time is to learn to operate in the unified oneness of 5D consciousness rather than being trapped within the limiting polarities and divisiveness of 3D. The discomfort of the anger and fear are the 3D incentive or catalyst that's pushing us into recognising the need to reject this polarised chaos and rise above it. We can only do this by opening up to 5D consciousness, which enables us to see the bigger picture. That is our protection. The planetary shift is all about expansion of our conscious awareness from 3D to 5D, and all the negativity going on is our incentive. Do we get caught up in it and stay trapped, or do we rise above it and evolve? That is our free will choice. And I should have said gills rather than fins when I was talking about breathing.
I didn't pick that up. So the lesson is to be able to see the fear and anger for what it is. That is, it's a way of controlling us and keeping us stuck because it is soul-destroying. Yes, we made a pre-birth choice, but we need to see and understand how our fear and anger plays out and affects us in the here and now. Our lesson is to rise above and beyond it because it's the quality of the journey that matters in the end, and it's up to us to make that journey as harmonious as we possibly can in these not-so-easy times. Does that make sense?
Definitely. The fear and anger hold us back and limit us, as yes, they are soul-destroying. They're the subtle weapon that the controllers have used upon humanity for millennia to stop our rightful path of evolution as a planetary culture. It's fear, often expressed as ego and also anger, that causes the dissension that drives all the wars, xenophobia and prejudice that has kept us divided as a planetary culture. But we do not have to buy into this agenda. This is where our free will comes into play.
So you have an addition to the message from Maris.
Yes, what he added is that it's the sheer lack of sense and bungling on the part of the authorities that will show all this up in the end. This in turn will cause a huge explosion, which will hopefully wake people up. I love it the way Upstairs has planned all of this, using the negative forces down here as puppets. This is basically the message that Mara sent through the other day as I was meditating. It's really hard to put into words, but what he was trying to get across is that on higher levels of reality, everything is playing out perfectly, because up there, the duality of positive and negative doesn't apply. Everything is in balance and the way it needs to be. However, once it starts playing out and manifesting in 3D on a highly polarised planet such as Earth, negative and positive aspects do come into play, so you have conflict arising, as is happening. But, and this is necessary, people need to experience this chaos and out of control emotion for themselves. This is all part of the awakening up process. It's the end times prophecy playing out as a prerequisite to the planetary shift.
And the planetary shift is energetic, and therefore we are in an energetic spiritual war, so to speak. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what's been misinterpreted as the Battle of Armageddon. This has been misinterpreted as an outer religious war, whereas in actual fact it's an inner spiritual battle, fought out within our own consciousness as the battle between love and fear.
So if we're in an energetic spiritual war, it's an energetic resistance. So therefore we have to move through it energetically. We have to do it through feeling and sensing. We have to do it by knowing what resonates personally. We cannot do it by getting caught up in all of the negative emotions being stirred up and thrust upon us. And the thing is, none of it is logical. Nothing that's happening on the planet right now is logical, and that's the key. You can't figure it out with your logic mind. It's energetic. It's an energetic conflict.
Yes, it's a purely personal spiritual battle within, and the only way we can win is by building up enough self-empowerment through knowing without a doubt that we have the God essence within our own being. We don't need a God or Saviour out there somewhere to come and save us. We have it all within our own being, because we are in reality immortal spiritual beings, energised and protected by universal life force energy, which is the source energy of unconditional love. Understanding and accepting fully the fact of our immortality is what gives us the courage and the empowerment to not be drawn into the fear. This is the hidden message behind all the legends and folklore on Earth involving a central figure needing to face and overcome a mammoth quest that seems way beyond their ability as a mortal in order to attain a goal or prize. It's also the shamanic journey known as the Dark Night of the Soul. In these quests, the seeker or initiate has to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. For example, St. George having to defeat the dragon in order to attain the goal. The goal we are striving for on Earth right now is the attainment of a more expanded state of consciousness, which involves the breaking down of the limiting barriers of fear, ego and divisiveness within us. This is the key to our true empowerment as a planetary culture.
So allow life to be on your side. Ask different questions. Ask how could these last 2 years have been the best thing that it could have ever happened to me. That may sound like a big ask, but you also may find gems in there.
That's for sure. I've heard and read so many people saying this, that all the enforced lockdowns and disruptions over the past 2 years have actually offered some amazing opportunities for spiritual evaluation and growth. This is not to say you have to lock yourself away in monastic confinement to evolve spiritually, but at the same time, some people find life very confronting without being continually surrounded by activity and distraction. They are just not comfortable in their own company, which is a sad state to be in. This is a way of running away from self. True spiritual growth calls for us to confront self head on and to closely examine our life, our thought patterns and our emotional responses. We cannot evolve spiritually while we avoid doing this. Part of this self-examination also involves how we perceive and relate to others. What annoys us and causes conflict with others is often a reflection of what we ourselves are putting out on an energy level. The enforced lockdowns have offered many people the time and space needed for this self-evaluation and have also allowed for more quality family time, which so many children have appreciated.
Yeah, that's right. So we've said this before and we'll say it again. We are moving out of a consciousness that has been operating through conflict, competition and separation. We have been operating from a fear-based consciousness, and that's just the way it was. That's what we were born into, and that's what our parents taught us, albeit lovingly. That's what our teachers taught us, that's what our peers did, and that's what we did. But the question begs, how's that working out for you? How's all that playing out for you right now?
Yes, this is definitely a question we need to look at closely and think about deeply. As humans, competitiveness seems to be born and bred in so many of us. For members of the animal kingdom, this is a necessary component for survival. But surely, as humans, it's time to evolve past this mindset. Why is beating and outdoing another person so vitally important? What's the point? Why not aim for betterment within yourself? Don't we ever get sick of all this competitive dog-eating dog world we live in? This is not the way higher universal cultures operate. And funnily enough, the dogs next door were just demonstrating it as we were talking.
They were. Yes, I'm sure we all agree that it could be better, and that's because we are hopefully starting to see that this type of consciousness is not serving us. This type of consciousness is not allowing us to live our best life. And the fact that we are actually seeing it for what it is because we are moving into another consciousness. We are moving into a higher consciousness where love reigns supreme, a consciousness where cooperation, connection, and mutual aid reside.
And this is where our empowerment as a planetary culture lies. If only humans of Earth could learn to put aside all these transitory and petty differences, and these include differences such as race, religion, and colour. In the greater reality, these are not the huge issues that people down here believe them to be. These need to be put aside so that we can begin cooperating and working together as a planetary culture. This is the only path to galactic and cosmic citizenship. Until this can be achieved, we cannot truly progress. All higher planetary cultures have achieved this state of oneness.
So Mara says people need to experience this chaos and out of control emotion for themselves. This is all part of the waking up process. It's the end times prophecy playing out as a prerequisite to the planetary shift. We are in the midst of experiencing the positive and the not so positive events that this chaos and out of control emotions are creating. Everywhere on the planet, people are waking up more and more, but people are also resisting more and more, thus creating even more conflict if we are not conscious.
Yes, because so many are still trapped in fear, scared and resistant to change. Too many Earth humans are addicted to drama and conflict, and it serves as a great distraction away from truly and honestly looking within. Too many also are so entrapped in the saviour-redeemer complex, always searching for somebody to come and save them. God, ETs, angels, spirit guides, earth plane authorities, or whoever. It's people themselves who need to make the changes. Nobody can do it for us. As Maris has said, even if the ETs could come and press a magical button and fix everything on Earth in a day, if humans themselves don't change, then it would all very quickly go back to where it is.
Yeah. So what is going on here at this time can be confronting and confusing when we try to figure it out. As mentioned earlier, it's an energetic spiritual war, so therefore it has to be felt and sensed on deeper levels. Still having respect, compassion and empathy for the people that no longer resonate with needs. Sorry, I'll just say that again. So still having respect, compassion and empathy for the people that you no longer resonate still needs to come from the heart, so enough said. And a gentle reminder here to have respect, compassion and empathy for yourself as well. You may find yourself navigating very different times as a lot of fear and anger come up, so be gentle with yourself.
Yes, this is the thing. The universal laws of reflection, attraction and manifestation are continually in play, and it all begins and ends with self. If we don't have self-love, self-respect, self-compassion and self-empathy, then we cannot expect it from others. as quantum physics is proving. We truly do create our own reality. You cannot change the world, you can only change yourself. To quote Mahatma Gandhi, whose amazing energy brought about massive changes, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes, and following are some words from Mary Magdalene. The life that she lived on earth with Jesus has been misunderstood, judged and criticised. So let's listen to what she has to say as we find ourselves navigating this very polarised time on earth. So Mary Magdalene says, to defend myself will be to sink to a lower level than I feel comfortable with, and that's not where I choose to reside. The lower levels of human bickering, judgment and chaos are just that, lower levels. When you dwell in consciousness is where you truly dwell. Where you dwell in consciousness is where you truly dwell. Don't worry about what other people think or say. Heal the situation with love. Send love to those who have hurt or misjudged you. Forgive yourself for what you think you should have done or not done. Release all forgiveness towards others to help heal yourself and move on.
Yes, Paula, beautifully said. It does all come back to self. Just this morning I was reading back over some notes and found this message by Michael Love, given to him by the Pleiadians. There's so much in alignment with what we too have been told by our grey teachers. Their messages are as follows. Any chaos on the surface at the moment is simply due to the energetic collision of two dimensions, as the old world gives birth to the new one. Chaos is the natural result of change, and change is the only constant in this universe. Change is not negative, it is just change. And if anything, it is growth. Ask the caterpillar. Do not fear change, but allow it to just be and know the universe has your back. At this great time, we want you to fully remember who and what you truly are and become totally aware of what you are doing on earth at this time. Use this downtime to stay more in spiritual mode. Maybe something needs to change in your life and way of being. Is this what the universe is saying to you? Only feed your mind with positive energy and thoughts. Use positive affirmations daily to reprogram old errant thoughts. Question everything you've been told in 3D. Learn to create with your thoughts. This is the divine gift of your creators. A thought is the most powerful thing in the universe and the basis of all creation, so be careful of and aware of what you think. You always have a choice in every situation to choose love or fear. Choose love always. Ask yourself, what would love do in this situation? And do that. This is always the right choice.
So good. So these are really powerful messages and wonderful validation for the messages that Maros has given us. So if you want to read more about all of this, would just like to remind everybody that Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which is included in the link below. And if you liked this video, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, sending you all so much love. Thank you all for listening, and bye for now.